Hello everyone, it is Wednesday the 21st of September. I want to talk about that it should be very clear in our heads what this God in the Bible that we're worshipping is. And, to see the full face of God, which you can actually see because it's not all that big. In fact, it is extremely small. And only then can we be free of his judgment, which we must be in the first place. We must be free of his judgment of us. You are but dust. And you will become free of that judgment when you understand that he is a lot smaller than you. And that he deliberately made himself that. That was his choice. He is a God. Therefore, he can create himself. He can create an image of himself. He can be self-conscious. Not only can he be self-conscious, he can create his own image. That is what a God is. Yeah? And there's no other part of nature that can do that. Yeah? A cat cannot sit down and suddenly decide to become something else. It has not got that power over itself. But we have, and so has that God. So that God, Yaldabaoth, the Lord God, decided, that was his decision, that is his image of himself, decided, first of all, that he's the only one, and secondly, that he is the will to have dominion, that he should rule over. He's the only one. He is the greatest there is. And therefore he must rule over that which is inferior to himself. That is the God of the Bible. Yeah? And as I said, he created himself. That is his image of himself. And then we are being told that that is greatness. Yeah? And that we are inferior. Now, I was listening a little bit to Wayne Steiner, and there's one thing he was saying, talking about the two creations, which they are obviously two creations in that story. The first is the creation of God created men in his own image. They are like him. In that, first of all, if you want to be part of Elohim, you must accept God's judgment of himself. Yeah? You must worship. And you must fully accept the judgment that he has of himself. I am the only one. I am the greatest. Yeah? So, even in that acceptance, Elohim themselves are inferior. The other Elohim are inferior to the one. But in worshipping him and in giving of their knowledge to him, in serving him and his intention, they are standing very close to his light. His light, not their own. Yeah? They are bathing in his light. So that is in the book of Revelation, the throne room, the 24 elders, the wise ones that flatten themselves in front of God, worshipping his greatness. That's Elohim. Yeah? And if you want to become Elohim, that's what you must become. You must accept that he is the only one, and you must accept his greatness. And your knowledge, your power must be given to him. In fact, you make yourself into a complete idiot. And that is what is required to become Elohim. Now then came the second, that is the man created from the dust. Now we were not Elohim. Because Elohim, and they are gods. That is the next idiotic thing. They are actually gods. That is, they know I am. But they have, out of their own free will, accepted that there's this being on top of them, to rule over them. They've accepted that out of their own free will. Now, when we were created from the dust and we did what Elohim does, we served the one. Our knowledge served the one in the garden. Yeah? But we did not do it consciously. And in that, we were not self-determining beings, which are gods. We were but dust. We were just the plebs that are unconsciously. In fact, people are saying we should return to the garden. Most of them are there. They are in the garden. They are the unconscious plebs. But anyway, so that, and it's funny that Wayne Steiger said, there was no sin in the first creation. No, there isn't. In the eyes of God, they are perfect. They serve me. They accept me as the one. They accept that I am all. Yeah? They are perfect in my eyes. The idiocy of it all, when you really read that text. So when we awoke we became infant gods at that moment. Infant gods. And the realization of looking at each other and knowing ourselves. Yeah? And then we started questioning what was going on. And that is sin. No, you do not question. You must worship. You must worship. You must accept that he is the one and there is nothing beside him. So we got kicked out because we wouldn't play ball. In the eyes of God, that is sin. In my eyes, that's wisdom. Or at least the beginning of wisdom. The first seed of wisdom. Now, in the Old Text, as I said, I read from the Gnostics yesterday, they already knew that. They already saw that the right way out. Of course, the Catholic Church and the Church goes against declaring it heresy because they worship the one. They do worship the one and his intention, to have dominion. They want to stand in that light themselves. They want to be Elohim. They want to stand in the light of I am ruling over. So they are in agreement with the one. And then declare anything that goes up against them heresy. As I said, we need to become a lot less than what we are. I had this thought just a few days ago, and it comes back, as to what do I want to be when I grow up? It comes again and again. What kind of God are you? If you become self, what is it you actually are? And you have choices. See, that's the thing, you have got choices. God, Elohim, the Yaldabaoth, he had choices. I'm sure there was more in him than, he's created from the light, so in him there are lots of possibilities, but he chose the one. I am the one. That's what he chose. So, and this thought of, my aspects and how to use my aspects in the correct way. And then there's this thought, and that is really funny because that is a saying, a human saying, to be a jack of all trades or a master of none. Yeah? And there is actually in a human saying this perception that has been drilled into us, the perception of one. Well, there's your choice. This black and white sheep herding choice. Either you're one and master, or you're all. And that's your choice. Be one or be all. Again, this black and white thinking, which many are running with at the moment. They're running with all. And completely disregarding all the choices in between that you have. Yeah? You can be several things. You can be good, you can be wrath, you can be stern, you can be compassion. You do not have to become master of one. In fact, if you become master of one, you've gone wrong. Because again, you have restricted all your possibilities into just one thing. And you can become a master of several things. Now, you cannot become a master of all, I would say. It's too much. One is not enough. And we can see it in this world. Just the will to have dominion is not working. It's destructive. Even just the will to be just compassion makes you into a complete compassionate lovey-dovey idiot that will be ruled over by those that are just dominion. So you can be several things, as many as you can handle, as many as you can be master over, as much as you can juggle. That's your capability. And then you must kind of be honest with yourself. How much can I handle? What can I do? What am I? And that is what you need to find out. But, and which sides of yourself can you handle? What can you be in control of? Be in control of your compassion, be in control of your love, be in control of your wrath, being in control of your anger, you need to be the master of yourself. And then what intentions will these serve? What is it you want to create in this world that these energies can serve? But first of all, and before we can even go there, we must get rid of that judgment. Because that is what is holding people back. That is what has people blind to the truth of themselves. Yeah? And a lot will fight against that. And to me, just again this morning, this thought came, it is a bit like Germany after the Second World War. Yeah? Where people worshipped these megalomaniac prats, mass murderers, as being something elevated, greatness. They worship them as greatness. These are great men that will lead us into a fantastic future. Yeah? And then to after the war, having their eyes open to the truth of what it is they actually worshipped. And that hurt. That hurt for a lot. And actually, to some, it hurt to a point where they could not admit to themselves what it was they had worshipped. Their eyes just wouldn't open to the truth because it was too painful. And that will happen now if you open the eyes of people to the truth of the Lord God, what He actually is, and what it is you're worshipping. But if you know that, then suddenly this world makes sense. Yeah? Because the Christians are sitting there and saying, why do the powerful are given all these things? Why should they be given? They're going against the will of God. No, they're serving Him. That is what God is. That's why they are getting, because they're serving that God. And the more you worship Him, the more you're being given. I've heard Christian ministries that are saying, oh look, our ministry is flourishing. We are being given of God because we are glorifying Him. Yes. And at the same time going up against the powerful, the mighty, not seeing that you are actually promoting the same God. And that's why you're being given. But again, you are in the garden. You're doing it unconsciously. You do not know what it is you're doing. You're not seeing it. You are Adam and Eve in the garden, doing it without understanding what it is you're doing. Whereas, and that is why you might have a little ministry somewhere at the bottom, and you're being given, the unconscious parts are being given, but you're not standing in the fullness of a light of, Jeff Bezos or something like that. You're not there, and you're not going to get there, because for that you have to become Elohim. You must do it consciously, and you must worship this consciously. Anyway, that is what we need to get out there. The God that you're worshiping is a magnumaniac, whatever that word is. Magnumaniac, whatever. Pratt. That is who he is. That is what the church is worshiping. It will declare anything that speaks against that as heresy. You are greater than that. And he has got no right to judge you because he is less than you. How can he judge you? Anyway, I leave it at that for today. We must get out of this. We must open the eyes of people to the truth of what it is they're worshipping. Anyway, I leave it at that. Talk to you again sometime. Bye.